Hello everybody, it is Mike Levin on Wednesday, April 21st, 2021. And I am sorry to report that my cat Charlie, who some of you may have seen in videos of late, has passed. And I'm on my way to the vet now for the body disposal services. My daughter has said her goodbyes. My timing could not have been more perfect. Charlie was still with us and still together enough to open his eyes and have a little bit of responsiveness as we sang him songs, his Charlie songs. This is the age of a Charlius. And as he gently drifted off. And so, yeah, that's this trip. I'm bringing his remains to the Awesome Center, AWSOM. I forget exactly what it stands for, but it, I do believe, is the Humane Society of Monroe County, the SPCA, such as it were. So, yeah, this was the third of 3 cats that I had in New York City when my daughter was born. So these cats basically raised her. There was Billy and Sammy, the yin and yang of cats, who were large and in-charge presences, and very much eclipsed poor little Charlie, who we would joke is more of a probability cloud than an actual cat, because at any given moment it was very, very hard to locate Charlie. We also had a pretty large dog at the time, Bouvier de Flanders, named Cecil, who couldn't get enough of Charlie sniff-wise, so Charlie was a kind of scrappy little fragile-looking thing, but tough as nails. And as soon as there was, you know, the large, lumbering, in-your-face, bully sort of personality of Billy, Sammy, or Cecil, Charlie poofed. He disappeared. And it was sometimes very hard to find him again. I remember one time somehow he ended up outside, and we're like, look at that regal-looking cat sitting there. And this was up in Inwood, New York City, Manhattan, Inwood, Manhattan, upstate Manhattan, they call it, around the 215 block, above where anyone would ever really visit exists. It's kind of residential up there. And I lived in a couple places there. I think 3 different places on Vermelia, on the other side of Broadway, and then in the building attached to Grandpa's Pizza, west of Broadway, and then in Park Terrace Gardens, a co-op community, up on the hill in Inwood Hill Park. So I have lived in a variety of interesting places in New York City, and had these cats all through it. In fact, I started out at 16th Street in the Union Square area with Billy and Sammy. I got them at the Union Square PetSmart. I do believe it's actually still there. So they were my real New York kitties. And then I got Charlie a year and a half later at that same PetSmart. And he turned out to be a very, very different kitty. He looked like he belonged to the same set as Billy and Sammy, but we soon learned that he was this seemingly fragile little thing rapidly disappearing, and elusive. Charlie half the time wasn't there. And years later, after, the exiting of the various pets from Charlie's life, first Cecil, then Charlie, then Billy. Sammy really, first Sammy, then Billy. Charlie really came on his own. The elusive disappearing cat came out of his shell, and he became very Charlie-like. He asserted his Charliness, and it was really a delight to see. He was a very well-deformed little feline personality, but clearly tightly protected, always with his guard up. And it was not until his very later years, when he was 12 and 13 and 14, until he really started to let his guard down and to be more himself. And then we got Linny Cat, the tiny little kitten that came into his life, and he was not all that happy about that, but, it was okay. Charlie helped raise Linny, and Linny was socialized in part by Charlie. And so, that was the age of Linny and Charlie. Linny and Charlie and Charlie and Linny were two little kitties I knew. And so now it's just Linny Cat, and it's, it's good to remember, have the fondness in your heart and everything. But it's also good to live in the moment and to celebrate Charlie's life by celebrating Linny's life, and to do what's good for the people who are around me, living with me here and now, and make every moment as rich and deep and meaningful as any other. There's the poltergeist. My phone flipped off its little stand there. I guess that's its way of telling me to wrap up. That's a good wrapping up point, right? Live in the moments and be happy. Don't take things for granted, and spend quality time with those who are around you, because they won't necessarily always be around you. So, thanks for joining me. Hope to see you again soon, and don't forget to subscribe for the continuing stories of kitties and kids and